Welcome to Nerds Against Normality, the podcast where the only qualification for joining us is having argued passionately about something fictional at least once in the last 24 hours. I'm Harry Bowles. I didn't choose the nerd life. It spawned me at level 1 and threw me straight into the boss fight without a starter weapon. With me is my wife Stacey. She doesn't raise her voice, she raises facts. And if you misquote a franchise, she will correct you before you finish a sentence.
Hello.
And finally, our third co-host, Ben Sheridan. He claims he's busy today, but we think he just forgot we were recording. But as usual, he's left us a little note as to why he can't make it.
Anyway, guys, I'm really sorry I won't be able to make it to this to your podcast because I'm already on another podcast, and I'm going to be honest, guys, I think this one's about to kick off massively. I'm talking like at least 4 figures and probably a sponsorship deal. Stephen Bartlett may be getting involved, but I don't really know how much money he's going to be investing. I've got to go back to it. Enjoy your podcast, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.
So in his place, we are joined by the lovely Ethan Lawrence. He's got mysterious backstory energy, stats maxed in wrestling trivia, and an intrigue for the paranormal.
What?
Just to warn you all that this podcast will contain a heavy amount of swearing, adult themes, and the occasional bullying of Ben, even though he's not here to defend himself. As always, if you haven't already, you can catch us on all the social medias. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, yada yada, to keep up to date with all of our latest episodes. So, Ethan,
Hello.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am an actor, a large actor, and a comedy man. I have been a professional television and film actor for 13 years, 13 and a half now, which is a long ass time to be doing this nonsense. And I'm also a podcast maven of sorts, having recently started one myself, Shut Up and Answer the Question, which is a podcast where myself and my co-host Sean Anthony, who is a lovely voiceover artist who I believe will be on this pod before long, because we're doing a lovely little swapsy thing, because we're all creatives struggling, so let's a rising tide lifts all ships. You can listen to that on earlier when you heard Harry say about all the pod places, ours are there as well. You could just go on that, on Apple or Spotify or Podcatch or Cast Matrix, or I was sort of going to ad lib a few more, but I'd run out of steam.
Anyway.
And that's a lot like what my podcast is like. It's just 2 men running out of steam over the course of an hour. Yeah, that's me. Acting wise, for those who are not familiar with me, you may know me from Bad Education on BBC Three, now on Netflix. You may know me from Afterlife now on Netflix. You may know me for Horrible Histories and Horrible Science now on BBC iPlayer. You may know me from Boat Story on BBC iPlayer. You may know me from Magic Mike's Last Dance, which is a crazy thing that I was in. I didn't do any dancing. I wasn't allowed. On the basis that they actually wanted people to come and watch the film, and they thought that my sweaty, flabby body would be off-putting. I see them doing like all kip-ups and that, and I'm like, Christ, I like make loud noises if I have to stand up from a chair.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're going to go through some of your favourite films, TV series, and video games.
Yes.
We'll go movies first.
Okay. I mean, that's the thing I know least about.
So that's a good place to start. It can only get better.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we were recording when I said this, but famously, I've only ever seen one movie.
And we're not talking about that movie.
No, I didn't put it on the list. But I'll tell you what, though. Madagascar 2 Escape to Africa is a hell of a motion picture.
What a classic.
Okay, so for number 3, you picked The Matrix.
The Matrix, yes. 1999's The Matrix.
Just Matrix 1.
Matrix 1. And as far as I'm concerned, there only is one.
Oh, controversial hot take.
Oh, do you know what? That's not fair. Reloaded has some highlights.
The motorway scene?
The freeway sequence, pretty much that whole chateau fight's pretty good.
The end credits?
End credits, yeah. That was pretty cool. To be fair, I've got time for the massive Smith brawl as well in the public park.
If it wasn't for the dodgy like PS2 cutscene graphics, I think it could have actually been something.
I mean, at the time, PS2 had only just come out, really.
Don't defend it.
Well, they were working with what they had at the time. Actually, funnily enough, going back to The Matrix, as I have recently, a couple of years ago now, Matrix 1, considering how much special effect gubbins that they put into it, holds up surprisingly well.
Yeah, it really does. Bullet time still looks great.
Because they had those, like they were using that sort of innovative camera technique where they had like like a 360 camera array so that they could
so when he was doing like the falling, they could capture every angle of it.
Yeah, so like it was very, very innovative stuff at the time. And we usually, when someone's on the bleeding edge of new tech, it's the first thing to look dated. But yeah, no, The Matrix, great film that. And I think what I like about it as well is that it was made, as we know now, we didn't know then, made by two trans women. I mean, you put it into films what you take out of them. Obviously, that's just the nature of the thing. But like reading sort of critical analyses as sort of The Matrix is kind of like a transgender allegory really kind of works. Like there's so much stuff in there that like if you're willing to look, it's there for you to find. It's for a kung fu action movie. There's a surprising level of depth, I think.
Yeah. Well, he, evolves into his real self, doesn't he?
Yeah, and like the evil villain constantly uses his old name, his dead name, you might say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're Mr. Anderson.
That's such a good impression.
I wasn't do you know what? I don't know. I think it's all right, but it's not good enough to sort of extend further. I didn't know I was going to do that, so it's always good to take a swing. I find like if you want to do like an impression of someone or an impression of something, it's best to just sort of leap into it without knowing. And sometimes you surprise yourself. I found out I could do an impression of Josh Widdicombe that way.
Oh my god! Please do it.
So hang on, let me find it. Don't talk to me like that. I'm a real grown man. I am.
It is so good.
I didn't know I could do it. Just at the time, I was just sort of like, wow, look, I'm not a hobbit. I'm not. But yeah, no, Matrix slaps. It really does. And it is a shame that so much of the language of the film has been co-opted by dickheads and all. Like, if I have to hear people talk about being fucking red-pilled anymore, I'm going to go insane.
Which pill would you take, though?
Given the option, I thought, actually, I'm going to go into this. I feel that the options presented to Neo were underexplained by Morpheus. Very cryptic, wasn't he? He's like, hey, take the blue pill. You wake up in your bed, you believe whatever you want to believe, etc. Take the red pill. I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. What does that mean, Morpheus? Because it turns out what it actually means is you get birthed from this like human battery machine. You slide down a big pipe and then you have to have loads of acupuncture so you can move again.
Whoa. You didn't mention the slime, Morpheus.
Or the acupuncture, actually. Also, you didn't mention that we live on a shitty, rusty ship. Floating through some tunnels being chased by squid. That never came up.
And it's no longer safe to go back to the Matrix. Turns out these three dudes, quite angry, quite aggressive, and will kill us.
And can teleport into other people's bodies. It's mental. If I had known... Actually, do you know what? That's a lie. I was about to say, if I'd have known that before given the option of the pills, I probably would have taken the blue pill. No, I'd have taken the blue pill anyway.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss, right?
Ignorance is absolutely bliss. As Cypher says when he's eating that delicious steak.
Yeah, my brain is telling me it tastes delicious.
Because like it sort of extends to that whole thing, like, again, stupid people pulling stuff out of the Matrix that like is probably the least interesting part of the Matrix. Like, hey, we're all living in a simulation. And it's like, okay, so what though? Like there's not really anything I can do about that. So Yeah,
and if the option or the alternative is being birthed by a robot, like you say, and getting spiked through the head, I don't think it's for me.
I also don't think I'd be a good candidate for being pulled out of the. I mean, for first thing, I'm 32 now, which is probably around the age that Keanu was when he was in that film. And like Morpheus has this whole thing where he's like, we usually pull people out when they're a lot younger because the mind has trouble letting go. So I'm way past that anyway. I'm unfit. I don't do well in like small enclosed spaces with lots of people. I can't. I mean, I suppose I could have the ability to fight if they downloaded it into my head like they do in the film.
Yeah, that's probably the only
upside
thing you get. Yeah,
and a cool coat
and a sex orgy in a cave.
Yeah, you do have the sex orgy in the cave and a cool coat. That's true. You know what? I'm questioning it. I might. We discussed this on my podcast once, but one of my favorite sort of pre-production facts about The Matrix is that they did have people in mind for the characters before they landed on Keanu and Lawrence Fishburne.
A certain Will Smith.
I am going to bring up a certain Will Smith who is tap to play near, but I would also like to bring up the fact that they were considering Sean Connery for Morpheus.
Absolutely not. What?
I would picture that in that case, he would be sort of more like a kind of Yoda figure.
Yeah, I just couldn't imagine it.
Can you not? Just Sean Connery in a big black leather coat, and then he turns around, at large.
Your second pick, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You picked the trilogy, which I don't think is fair. Cause,
you allowed me to.
Yeah, because it's a story, is it? The whole story is the 3 films.
And ultimately, like, when it comes to these sorts of things, I'd struggle to, like, pull one out.
So if you had to rank them...
If
I had to.
So give 1, 2, 3, bearing in mind that saying that you're the worst Lord of the Rings film is still saying that you're one of the best films of all time.
I'm going to say 2, 3, 1.
From worst to best.
From best to worst.
What, you've gone for 2?
I've got 2 Towers up top. And I'll tell you why, I've got a lot of nostalgia for that film. And I happen to think, for all the problems it may have as sort of kind of having a kind of meandering middle, the whole sequence of Helm's Deep just saves it.
Yeah, it is incredible. It's the best fight scene out of the...
It is extraordinary. Like, the lengths that they had to go to get that shit to work. And you meet all the people from Rohan, and that's fun. And look, there's Brad Dourif chewing the scenery. Great stuff. Like, there's Bernard Hill. Look, he's all old. And then they do like an in-camera effect to make him young, which actually still looks really good.
Well, I think a lot of the reason why Lord of the Rings looks good is because a lot of it's practical, isn't it? Like,
yes,
Hobbit, a lot of their armor is CGI and it shows. But in like Helm's Deep, you can tell that they're wearing armor, and like when they're hitting their chests, you know, the armor actually moves and the lighting.
It clangs. Yeah. It makes noise. Like, it's powerful stuff. And like, I've put Fellowship third. And I think that's only really because I just think that's the film where it's just sort of getting going.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Especially if you watch the extended editions, which is the only way to watch them, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you know, it does have a bit of a meandering middle. But that's fine, because for what it works in Lord of the Rings, it doesn't work in The Hobbit for me.
Don't hate The Hobbit. I'm not one of these people that like sack it off, but it definitely didn't need to be a trilogy.
What is it you like about Lord of the Rings so much? Is it like the kind of friendship of the hobbits, their adventure, or is it the kind of war and battle elements? Sort
of all of it. Like, it just all hangs together so well. Like, you know, it's a modern day epic. Like, you know, a proper epic. And it feels that way. And it just felt like everyone involved was so desperate for it to work. So they worked double hard to make it thus.
Well, it was a nightmare project, wasn't it? They filmed all 3 back to back to back.
For like the confidence that New Line had in Peter Jackson, I don't know where that came from. You know, a man who up until that point had directed fairly cheap exploitation horror.
Yeah, and then gave him that sort of budget and time.
And they're like, here's 500 million, come back in 3 years with something.
And I won't be happy unless we win at least 11 Oscars with this film.
But no, I just think everything about it. Well, there's a story that I love because I think it speaks to. It's a small detail, but it speaks to Lord of the Rings as a whole. The costume designers had put like brocaded gold lining inside Bernard Hill's Theoden armor. No one would ever see it because he's wearing it.
Yeah,
but he knew it was there. And it made him feel like a king.
Yeah, of course.
I love that everything is so detail oriented, and like it's vast but small, and there's so many little moments and everything like that. It's just like career defining performances from multiple people in the film.
Do you think you love it? And I think this is the reason why I love it so much. Is because at its essence, it kind of feels like an RPG.
Elements to that. I think there's certainly a part of it. It maps on well to my other interests.
Yeah, I like, you know, you follow the underdogs. Like, let's face it, the hobbits, they should just be fodder, shouldn't they? They should just be orc food.
Yeah. Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Yeah. Baffling they know what a menu is, but we'll skip past that. Fine.
I think I just love the implication that like there's like Urukai restaurants.
Doris, did you book the restaurant?
And then up until now, it's been largely vegetarian / vegan.
my sort of place.
Yeah. You'd love it.
You'd love it at the Urukai Diner. They cater for plant-based.
Yeah.
Also, Christopher Lee's in it, and there's a great little story about Christopher Lee on this, which is in the scene for the third film that got cut and only ended up in the extended edition. Grima Wormtongue, played expertly by Brad Dourif, one of my favourite actors, stabs old Christopher Lee in the back, and then he falls off the tower. And apparently Peter Jackson was going to him, right, I'm not going to do a New Zealand accent. I don't feel comfortable. But he goes, so when he hits you, I want you to go like, and Christopher Lee sort of turned to him and said, have you ever watched a man die?
Oh my God.
Because I have, and it doesn't sound like that.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And I was like, I love Christopher Lee because he's like, he was like a Nazi hunter / spy thing.
Yeah, kind of a big deal.
He was at the last public execution in France. He was just there, hanging about, hunted Nazis all throughout World War II and a little bit after, then became a horror film guy, then had a long career as Christopher Lee, and then a couple of years before his death released a metal album.
I didn't know that.
What?
Based around the life of King Charlemagne. Check it out. I think it's called Charlemagne. It's all right.
Yeah. I mean, he was definitely a bit salty, wasn't he, by the end of the trilogy, that his scene got cut.
I would be.
Yeah, I mean, he plays such a pivotal role in 1 and 2.
He's freaking Saruman. Like, you can't just, like, write him off screen.
Yeah, weird.
Oh, yeah, he fell.
Yeah. Food poisoning, apparently. Yeah.
Oh, died of natural causes. It was crazy.
Just died peacefully in his sleep.
The allergen menu at the restaurant.
Shellfish got him.
It turns out deathly allergic to scallops. Who knew?
Okay, so going on to your absolute favourite film,
Yes.
Singing in the Rain. And I have to confess, I've never seen it. So, Stacey.
Oh, you missed a fucking treat, mate.
I'm a big fan and I'm so excited this is your top choice. Tell us why.
It's been my favourite for as long as since I watched it for the first time. It's just, it's so good. I mean, I've got a soft spot in my heart for like the silver and golden age of the Hollywood musical. Like, you know, this would have been silver age because it was your young upstarts, your Gene Kelly, your Don O'Connors. But like all the way back to the golden age with your Fred Astaire, your Ginger Rogers, your Bing Crosby's, that whole lot. I love all that. Love all that. And Singing in the Rain is just a great sort of example of the genre. I do want to point out to the people listening at home, yes, I have picked 2 films that are 25 years old and one that's 75 years old. Sue me.
Like you say, you don't watch films anymore.
I don't watch, not since 1953.
Why would you?
Was it the kind of musical element of this film that inspired your appearance in Magic Mike?
Yeah, in many ways, yes. You could say I was. I mean, I don't know if I was singing in the rain, but I was certainly wet.
Gushing.
Absolutely gushing. It's just such a great, because like the thing with these films, especially sort of like basically all of the old style Hollywood musicals, is that the plot is so trite. Like there's basically nothing going on. It's just performative behavior to link the songs together.
Just an excuse to get to the next song, right?
Yeah, and the rest of it's just sort of behavior. Like, you know, Fred Astaire would just like, you know, fall on a chair and like just, you know, sit all like that and everything. Ginger Rogers would be like, oh, who's this guy? And then there'd be some misunderstanding and she'd think he's like married or something, and then he's not, but like, and the plot could be cleared up if they just like communicated at all. But they have a dance where they forgive each other and then all is revealed and then happy. And that is literally every film that Fred Astaire made. Every single one. This one's got a little bit more to it, Singing in the Rain. It's about the end of the silent age of cinema. It's literally set at that pivot point. You've got your man Gene Kelly, and he is a co-star who's, oh my god, her name escapes me. That is dreadful, isn't it? But his co-star is like this really shrill, awful sounding woman, like really, really like they might even get like Zoom gated because it's so annoying. But he talks like that, really nasty voice. And so then when it converts to talking pictures, it's quickly realized like, fuck, like we can't use her. She sounds dreadful.
So
Yeah.
I did do a little bit of research. Apparently she's dubbed.
Yes.
Her voice.
The real fun thing about this picture, so stupid. So the actress playing the person who gets dubbed by the character Debbie Reynolds plays when Debbie Reynolds is singing at the end, she is dubbed by the actress that in the film Debbie Reynolds is dubbing. Hollywood's great. Another thing that's nice about it is that these musicals we usually stitch together like in a certain kind of way. Basically, the film studios would have like a vault of like all the music that they owned / copyrighted. And like essentially they'd get a writer in and they'd go, right, stitch this together with a story. That's usually why the stories were usually so rubbish. It's like, we've got 14 songs, make it work. So they did. Singing in the Rain is no different. There's only one original song in that film, which is Moses Supposes, which is a really weird tap number where like Gene Kelly and Donald O'Connor sort of assault a psychiatrist a bit. Yeah. It's weird. Like, no, not a psychiatrist. He's a linguist. Yeah, because they're learning how to talk properly. It's an enunciation thing, which is what the Moses Supposes thing is like. A Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously. Yeah. And while they're doing that, they're just trashing his office. It's great. But there's a Make 'Em Laugh. That's another great song. Donald O'Connor does essentially some of the most extreme physical comedy I think I've ever seen. And when we speak about practical, he really is like throwing himself on the floor, through walls. Like
that was on the trivia. Apparently, Gene Kelly's like notoriously hard to work with. Like he was a perfectionist, and he made him do that over and over to the point where he exhausted himself, passed out. And he had to have a few days off work because he was so tired.
Yeah, I mean, bear in mind the eponymous song "Singing in the Rain." Gene Kelly did that while like heavy with flu.
Yeah,
like he was so sick.
And it's not rain, is it? It's milk.
Yeah. He's just getting covered in old milk.
Jesus Christ, couldn't think of anything worse, could you?
Because it makes it looks better on the lights, on the lighting. But like the musical numbers are so good. Like there's a reason why they're so iconic. Like, and it was back in the day when they knew how to make a proper fucking.
Is this a child? Is this Member Berries film for you? Did you watch it as an adult?
I first watched it as an adult, or at least a very young adult.
Oh, okay, so it's not like you've even got like the association, like you just loved it because you watched it young and then you kind of cherish it.
There are a lot of musicals that I did watch that were like that, but Singing in the Rain I came to a little bit later when I had more of an appreciation of the form. Like, you know, once I'd done a bit of musical theatre myself, and so like I understood the mechanics.
Everything in Singing in the Rain is so grand, I think, and you can see there's a lot of attention to detail gone into the costumes and the setting, and
it's huge because again, this was when like Hollywood was just throwing money at these things, so it would be so lavish and all of the set pieces and everything. Like again, you can go back to like Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire. Those sets were, yeah, they were flimsy and painted on balsa wood, but like, you know, you believed you were in Venice.
So of all your 3 film picks, which world would you choose to live in if you lived in one for a year?
Well, we've already established that I'd take the blue pill. So I could be in the Matrix universe, but I'd just be one of the guys in the real world in the Matrix. Lord of the Rings looks a bit stressful to me, so I guess I'd go back to the to the roaring 20s and Singing in the Rain. Well, I reckon I'd do well. I think there was what was that fella, the guy that was a super successful comic actor, but then he got done for maybe killing someone.
What?
Fatty Arbuckle, that was his name. I'm sort of like a modern day Fatty Arbuckle, except for the killing a guy thing.
Okay, glad to clear that up because the police are waiting outside your door.
Shit. It's a sting. That's another good Sting.
So moving on to your TV series. So I believe number 3 was The Assembly, which again was new to me. I hadn't actually heard of it until you and Sean brought it up, but I obviously did a little bit of digging so I could get involved. And it looks really intriguing, and I think we would love it. It's
new to everyone. It's sort of, you could call it recency bias, I suppose, but it came out really recently. It's directed by my old mucker, Keane McGillicuddy, who also directed Horrible Histories. So there was a link there already. Premise-wise, if you haven't seen it, it's on ITV. You can catch it on ITV Player if you want. The episodes are like maybe 25 minutes long, so you'll be able to binge all 4 of them within 2 hours. So, you know, get on it. But the idea of it is the Assembly are a group of neurodiverse and learning disabled chaps and chapesses who would like to become journalists / interviewers. And then essentially they parachute a celebrity in. And the concept is, functionally, there's no limits to what questions can be asked, and they have to answer honestly. And then they just let them have at it. And it's funny and sad in spots, and really inspiring and encouraging. And it's just a whole heap of fun. This particular series had David Tennant, Jade Thirlwell, formerly of Little Mix, Gary Lineker, and Danny Dyer.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
saw.
God,
Oh my God, Danny
amazing.
Dyer! I am so excited to see that.
Oh, he is brilliant with them as well.
Yeah.
Because like you've got various degrees of neurodiversity and learning disability in there. Like there's some folks that are like basically just non-verbal, but are there also. Some guys whose like communication skills are very limited, and then some that are very high functioning. And so you've got that nice little mixture, and he's just great with all of them.
He seems like a really nice guy, just a top sort of bloke. The sort of guy you want to go to the pub to watch the football with, sort of.
The best thing he ever did was kick the coke.
Yeah.
Because before that, I think he believed his own bullshit for a while.
Yeah.
And it was good for him to like go, no, Danny Dyer, you're not a hard man. You're a fucking lovey.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you've been an actor for the majority of your adult life and some of your child life. You were best mates with Pinter. You're not a fucking hard man. All right? Ease up.
Because he played that sort of role, didn't he, in a lot of films back in the day?
Played.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's acting, right?
Steve McFadden, Phil Mitchell, went to RADA. He's not a hard man.
What?
Yeah.
What is it about the assembly that really you're drawn to? Is it the kind of the interviewing aspect? Because, you know, you host a podcast where you have guests as well. And is it the type of questions they ask, or is it the kind of diverse thought that you get?
That's such a good question, and you're going to get such a dreadful answer. Because this is going to make me sound like such a dick. The principal reason that I watched it is because we were going to interview Keane on the podcast.
Okay, no.
You just did it as an obligation.
And I thought to myself, I should probably give this a watch just so I'm across it so we can talk to him about it, because it's the most recent thing that comes out. He's probably going to want to plug it. So I sat down with the intention of watching one episode. And then 2 hours later, I stood up, having binged all 4, with tears streaming out of my eyes.
Oh.
Being like, that was absolutely brilliant. And I'm so glad that I took the time to watch it, because I may not have done. I hadn't even really heard of it until...
Yeah, I hadn't. But I mean, it's done.
I don't watch much ITV, so like I didn't see any trails for it or anything like that. I saw an advert for it pop up on TikTok here and there, but I was sort of like, oh, that looks like something. I don't know what that is, and just scrolled on.
It's a bit sad, isn't it? Like if it's not Netflix or Apple TV or like shoved in your face as the new big thing, you do just kind of miss it, don't you?
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Like, you know, especially in an attention economy like we have now. Like, you know, it sort of needs to be pushed in your face, because otherwise you're never going to see it. And like I am now, as an advocate of the program, I encourage everyone I meet to be like, you know, I grab them and just shake them like, you have to go watch the assembly.
I can't wait to hear some of the questions, because like I've worked with people of that nature, and they do not hold back. Oh
no, some of them are sharp as a tack as well.
Yeah.
There was one of them who asked Danny Dyer, and genuinely one of the most laugh out loud portions of this, was it particularly working class to send your kids to private school?
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And Danny Dyer's there like, oh, you fucking dummy there, ain't you?
He's retired in there. Gee. Okay, so moving on from the assembly, you then put Taskmaster.
Taskmaster. Da, 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 da. I would like to go on Taskmaster, please. We must assume that people listening may not know what Taskmaster is. I'm genuinely shocked when I bring it up to people. So, like, oh, what do you think of Taskmaster? And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, what?
16, 19 seasons in or something stupid like that.
Taskmaster is a Channel 4, formerly Dave show, where Alex is created by the comedian Alex Horn, who alongside Greg Davis, who is the Taskmaster, get on 5 comedians, and basically over the course of 10 weeks, they compete against each other in tasks of usually of a very silly nature. And then if they win, they get a big gold head.
Yeah. Do you have like a particular favorite series contestant? Like, who do you warm to?
Oh God. I mean, one thing I will say is that once they sort of has established themselves, because obviously early doors, they needed to get some like big names in so that like the people would watch it.
Oh,
I mean, you say Ramesh, but like in 2015, Ramesh Ranganathan was still on the up.
Oh, okay.
And as you go, remember this has started. Really, the guy that they got to push series 1 was Frank Skinner. That was the big get.
Yeah, well, Alex Horn actively hunted him, didn't he? He was kind of like, if we can get you, we can make.
I think it was something along the lines of like, if we can't get him, there's no point doing this.
Yeah, didn't Greg Davis say like, I won't do it if you don't get him, sort of thing?
I think it was more of a commissioner thing where they were just sort of like, you can't just have all these fucking no marks on there, including a young Josh Whitaker.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it.
Especially now that they've now that it's an established brand and they've got scope to bring on some more esoteric comedy names on. I hate it when people. I hate this in general, but I hate it especially with Taskmaster when people like an announcement of a lineup is announced and they're like, "Oh, I don't know anyone on that," and I'm like, "Good opportunity to learn some new names, ain't it, fucker?"
Do you not find it? They have a great balance. The recruitment team does so well, being like, right, we'll get 2 established names, and then we'll get 3 people that are up and coming, and then the chemistry, brilliant.
Chemistry's unreal. I don't think there is any series lineup that is anything less than brilliant.
I like how you say the recruitment team, like someone's gone out on LinkedIn with like, some CVs, like
they're on TikTok. Who's fun?
Oh, maybe, who knows? But it's so good. You asked me what my favorite series was. I mean, it's the basic answer because this is everyone's answer, but it's series 7.
James Acaster.
With James Acaster, Rod Gilbert, Phil Wang, Kerry Godliman, and Just Knappett.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that particular combination of personalities led to numerous fireworks.
Yeah.
And fireworks are absolutely the best bit. There's so many moments in that series. But again, all of them, I could talk about any series and pull out moments that I just adored.
Is there anyone that you would love to see coming on in the newest series?
Apart from yourself.
I'm not allowed to say me. Fine. Yeah. In terms of sort of like getting on like a legend, a comedy legend, like it will remain a crying shame that Sean Locke never had a chance to go on because he died. Yeah. Which is one of the worst things. If they could get Bill Bailey.
Oh, that would
and he would have great energy, right? Because he just attacks everything with 100.
He would go in with so much power and I imagine fail often, which is I love that. I love that when someone does that. But I mean, God, in terms of up and comers, I mean, well, throw a rock. Like, there's so many good young comedy performers that would so benefit from going on. They don't even have to be that young. They could be, I don't know, 32 with 13 years in the game. Like, really showed, like, because I mean, they've had people on from Horrible Histories now. Like, Matt Bainton was on, so the link is there. And like, it's not like I'm not represented by the sort of people who could get them on because I share a book with Kyle Smith Bino, who was on series 15. So I know that these conversations are happening. Do you know what I mean? I know that it's going on. I just feel like, if you just sort of get that over the line, I would be very good. I'm not really an up and comer anymore, am I? I think if you've got a decade on the clock plus, then you're not really an up and comer anymore.
We can badge you however you want.
So moving on to your number 1 show, you have put Black Books.
Yes.
Like, spoilers, we've had a few guests on, and I think every list has contained Black Books. So I'm looking forward to your insight because you would know more about, how it's made. And
but here's the thing: I think it's low key one of the greatest sitcoms ever made.
Agreed.
And people who know about it, we all know, and like you'll know when you meet a fellow Black Books fan because there'll be a quote, and then it's like, here we go. Yeah. I'm on solid ground here. I've often said, and I do believe it, should I ever go on Mastermind, celebrity or otherwise, my specialist subject would be Black Books.
Oh, okay.
There is virtually nothing I don't know about this show.
Well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? It's only, 18 episodes?
Yep, beautiful. Nice, self-contained, 3 series.
Would you
gotta love it.
For a little Christmas special or something?
I think it exists in its totality as it is. Like, I wouldn't want, I just leave the memories alone. You know what I mean? It's fine. And what I think, again, what's wonderful about it is that it's such a good example of what was happening in comedy in the early noughties. Because if you look at the list of cameos and guest appearances, household names all.
Oh, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost.
Series 3, episode 1. That was Simon Pegg. Nick Frost was series 1, episode 5.
And he's only in it for a bit, isn't he, Nick Frost?
He installs a security door and he's got a lisp.
Yeah, that is it.
That's the entirety of his character. But yes, Black Books, for those uninitiated, it's a situation comedy, or a sitcom for short, that's set in a bookshop in London, which is owned and managed by Dylan Moran, playing Bernard Black, who takes on an assistant in episode. Well, he technically takes him on as an assistant in episode 2, but he's also in episode 1. But that's just by the by. He's just a customer in episode 1, buying a little book of calm, which he then swallows. It's not important. But he's called Manny. He's played by Bill Bailey, funnily enough, coming up again for the second time on the pod. And working next door in sort of like a kind of bric-a-brac shop is Fran, played by Tamsin Greig. That shop then subsequently closes at the end of series 1 and then replaced at the beginning of series 3 by a new bookshop, a Goliath bookshop, which was run by Simon Pegg. But none of this is important. Essentially, Bernard Black is an alcoholic depressive who chain smokes, is consistently rude to his customers. There is no universe where that shop would be running for more than a week, but it is. Manny's like his dopey assistant, and Fran, and they just get drunk all the time, and they smoke and they swear, and they're horrible to each other, and it's fucking great.
It's a good chemistry, isn't it? Like, they deep down, you can tell that there's love there.
Oh, it's pure love. Like it's made with such texture, and like the gags are whip smart. Like it's just the perfect sitcom, and it was filmed in front of a live studio audience, and we don't get sitcoms like that really anymore.
Do you think if they did like a remake or whatever, decide to do a season 4, do you think they'd have to reel him in a bit? Would he get not cancelled, but could there be complaints coming in?
I don't know if there would be complaints. I just don't think it fits the zeitgeist as much anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's not so much that, like, it's so outrageous because, like, it's on Netflix. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like, but like, the time has sort of gone for sitcoms about violent, drunken misanthropes in a bookshop just tearing strips off each other. It just doesn't quite fit the comedy zeitgeist. Hey, it may come around again, and like, because comedy always comes in cycles.
With Black Books, do you find that you warm to the characters, or do you find them more like funny because they're just so terrible human beings?
I love them. I love them like you'd love a sort of slightly violent dog. Like, you never feel safe around them, but you do love them. You do love them and like, there's comeuppance all the time. Like, I think what they don't shy away from the fact that Bernard Black is a pathetic character. Like, he is absolutely pathetic. He can't live on his own. He can't cope. He's drunk all the time. If Manny wasn't there, his life would literally fall apart, as it does in multiple episodes where Manny leaves for a bit.
I mean, to be fair, it goes both ways. Manny is equally terrible. Better than Bernard, but still not great.
Well, one of the things I love about Manny is that he starts series 1 as a fairly decent accountant.
Yeah.
And then by the end of series 1, he's like this sort of rudderless hippie that can't cope in the real world. And I love that sort of degradation. I love the fact that Fran sort of seems put together in a lot of points, but like her love life is a disaster.
Yeah.
And like, she's just as hopelessly addicted to alcohol and nicotine as the rest.
And that's very evident when she goes on like the girls' holiday.
Oh, I love that app. That's a great app because you've got a great, that's sort of the B plot. The A plot of that one is Bernard and Manny attempting to write a children's book in one night, which is genuinely one of the funniest things ever come up with.
So good. Because
they get so frightened of their own potential success that they burn it. Thereby losing a £50 bet. It's such a wonderful sitcom. I believe it is on Netflix, and if you haven't seen it, I mean, it's only 18 eps.
Yeah.
Like, I have people come up to me all the time being like, "Oh, have you watched Game of Thrones? Have you watched Breaking Bad?" And it's like, no, because I have a finite amount of life. You're asking for upwards of 50 hours of commitment. Yeah. I don't have that sort of time.
So with all 3 TV shows that you pick, if we had a Taskmaster series, who do you think would win? Would it be Bernard from Black Books, or would it be someone that is on the Assembly?
So essentially the lineup is the character Bernard Black.
Yes.
Jay Thirdwell, Gary Lineker, Danny Dyer, or David Tennant.
Yes.
My money's on Dyer.
I think the punter's money, the common punter's money, would be on Lineker because he's a sportsman. Like, you know, he's got a bit about him and everything like that. I think the smart choice would be David Tennant. I think he has hidden wells of creativity.
Underdog.
I think that's where I put my smart. Bernard Black would leave the show after the first task.
I think that would be comedy gold, though.
Okay, so moving on to your video game. To refresh your memory, you went for The Binding of Isaac as your choice.
Yes, The Binding of Isaac.
Horrible game.
Horrible game. For those who don't know, and have you been living under a rock, bro? I'd
just like to specify, I only know this game because of Harry, and all I know about it is it's something about afterbirth.
That was one of the expansions. I guess you call it an expansion, wouldn't you?
Right,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was rebirth, afterbirth, and repentance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, allow me to explain. You play as a small naked boy called Isaac, who has grown up in a house with a hyper-religious mother, who has been convinced by God, who knows, that the only way for her son to reach any kind of salvation is if she kills him. This is the actual, like, biblical Abraham and Isaac story, right? You know, Abraham takes Isaac to the top of the hill because God asked for his life, and then God's like, you don't actually do it, you mad one. So in order to escape his mother's murderous rampage, Isaac jumps into the basement, which has now been populated by his nightmares that he must kill using his own tears. Any questions?
His own tears.
Yeah, he cries at them.
That's so sad.
But it's in the roguelike genre. So you got one life, and if you lose it, it's back to the beginning with you. If you hit certain milestones, like beating certain bosses or hitting certain endings, you unlock permanent boons and like additional characters or other more powerful items that you can then find in the item pools. So very classic roguelike in that. I mean, in terms of sort of roguelikes, it's sort of like, again, the example. It sort of came out of the sort of gaming space when these things were starting to become quite popular as sort of like an indie game surge, as it were. It's one of Steam's early success stories.
Well, it's from the guy who did Super Meat Boy.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, if people are familiar with Super Meat Boy, sort of hyperkinetic platformer, this is sort of like his sort of Metroidvania, I suppose, in a way.
What's mad about this game? So you say it's huge, right? It's a massive game. He created this as a side project whilst he wanted a breather from Super Meat Boy. He was like, just make a side game, which sold, 5 million units.
And that's then what encouraged him to sort of remake it, because the original one was quite different. And then he sort of remade it with all new textures and designs, and then kept adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. And so at this point, the game is vast. Yeah.
Well, didn't he? So obviously he's got a big modding community. And
huge.
He actually took on board a few of like the best modders. And what's the latest one that's come out? Repentance?
Repentance.
Yeah. He got them on board to help make it because he was that impressed. I was like, that's how you do it. That's how you do it, Nintendo. Don't sue them.
Yeah. Bring them in.
Yeah.
I put this on the list, not because it's one of my favorite of all time, but it is the game that I have sunk the most hours into.
It's a pick up and play, right?
I have 3 versions of it. I've got one on PC, one on Switch, and one on PlayStation. The one on PC, I have logged 1,600 hours into.
But Game of Thrones?
The one on the one on PlayStation 5, I've logged 695. Switch, they don't tell you. So I have put in so much time into this game because it's got that perfect just one more run itch.
It really does.
It's one of those ones that gets the recursive gameplay loop right. Because each run is usually 20 minutes to half an hour long, depending on whether you're going for some of the more fancier endings. So it's long enough to feel rewarding, but not so long that you don't feel like you could maybe pick up and try again. And the additions of extra items, you're always discovering new things. There's like a challenge mode where you get set amount of items that you have to use. There are so many characters. Like I think there's maybe 16 or 17 in Repentance. And in addition to that, once you unlock a certain thing in the game, which I won't mention, you get alternate versions of all of them. which play completely differently.
I didn't know that.
I would not be. I don't know. I haven't checked. I would not be surprised if Edmund Macmillan is Catholic.
Yeah.
Only because of the amount of religious iconography that is pumped into this game.
I'm assuming it doesn't take itself too seriously.
I mean, it's that weird combination because it is sort of kind of serious. Like, it's a game about religious child abuse.
Yeah, if you just turn on this game and play it on the base level, this is fun, isn't it? But then when you start looking into it, you're like, oh, it's quite dark.
Yeah, and like you fight your mother at the end of it, and that's never hidden from you. But then also, you can get a power-up that puts a little clown hat on you.
All right, so going on to number 2, you've gone for a very recent title. You've gone for Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
I have. Recency bias again, maybe, but while I was playing it, there was a certain point, and it wasn't that far in, there was a certain point where I was like, this may be one of my favourite games I've ever played.
Oh, what was the turning point?
I will keep this spoiler free. There is something that happens at the end of Act 1 that made me realise I was playing something that was special. I should explain. So Clair Obscur, it's a French game made in the JRPG tradition. So I suppose you could call it a JRPG.
Very good.
Thank you. Got a little chuckle there. In what looks to be a ruined Belle Epoque Paris, a group of humans live in a city called Lumiere. It's sort of on an island surrounded by a vast sea. And across this sea, there stands a thing called the Monolith. The Monolith is patrolled by a thing called the Paintress, who is a giant crying naked woman. I am noticing there's a lot of crying and nudity in my choices.
Do you need a therapist to talk about your issues with women?
No, I'll just do it on a podcast. On the Monolith is painted a number. At the moment, the number is 34. Every year, on a certain day, the Paintress stands up, wipes the number off, and another number is painted in its place, and it's one lower every time. That number represents the upper age limit of what any human can be. So once it rolls down, anyone above that age gets what's called gammaged. And during the gammage, what happens is anyone who's over that age just vanishes into a sort of zephyr of dust and petals, and they're just gone.
It's a bit like Thanos is the best way to describe it when he
but kind of more poetic and beautiful. So obviously this place is doomed because the number's going down every year. It's now on 33, which means the oldest you can be is 33 until next year when the gammage happens again and it's 32-year-olds. So every year they send out an expedition. The expeditions are numbered based on what's on the Monolith to go across the water and attempt to defeat the Paintress. Obviously, hasn't worked the last 67 times they've tried, but who knows? Maybe this time. And so you and a little team head out and try and find out what's a cracking on the mainland. And on the mainland is a JRPG turn-based combat system.
Which, in my opinion, is how Final Fantasy should have gone. The combat system is perfect.
It's lovely. It's weirdly enough, for people who may have played this game but not Clair Obscur, it's a lot like Super Mario RPG.
That is a very odd comparison.
It's not, though, because while it's turn-based, you can react to what the enemy is doing.
Yeah, you're talking about the GameCube remake, right? 1,000 Years.
Yeah. The ones where you can basically jump over enemy attacks.
Yeah.
In this case, you have two commands, which is a dodge or a parry, both of which operate with a certain timing window, with dodge being wider but parry being narrower. But if you're able to parry every enemy attack, you get to riposte and deal additional damage. So it means that while some turn-based games can be quite languid and static, just waiting for stuff to happen, in this one you have to be paying attention, because the enemies have very specific movement patterns and you've got to be across it. The game lies to you and says that you don't need to know this system in order to succeed. Yes, you do. Absolutely. Actually.
You cannot do it without it.
No way. You can't. Not even critical path. I'm not even talking about side content here. You will not be able to finish this game unless you get across the parry system. All you need to know about Clair Obscur is it is a fantastic game by a small company that deserve your love. It is not particularly expensive. It's certainly not as expensive as some of the AAA that's coming out now. It is a profoundly decent, humanist, interesting and fascinating game with so many emotional beats that you you just have to experience without spoilers.
It doesn't hold back, and I think the fact it doesn't hold your hand as well. A lot of RPGs, you can kind of see the tropes coming, can't you? You're like, that's going to be a backstab there, or they'll come back, some usual crap. But in this, it drip feeds you the story that I didn't really get everything that was going on until pretty much right at the end of the game.
Yeah, and I think it's going to really reward a second playthrough in that regard.
I'm literally doing the second playthrough because I'm noticing so many things which I didn't see before. I think it leaves it open as well to, I don't know if I'd like a sequel, but I would like a side game for sure.
Were you more impressed by the story, the gameplay, or like the look and feel of this game? Because I think it's a very pretty game as well.
It's gorgeous. Like the design across all of it is so nice. It's such a lovely game to look at. The gameplay kept me there while the story was just enthralling.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the legacy of this game is? Because it was made on a cheaper budget. I think you already said it came out, at a fraction of the cost of some modern day games that are coming out, and yet it was really impressive.
I think short term, I imagine it's going to sweep the board any award ceremony going. I wouldn't be surprised if it picks up multiple awards, and well deserved too. I think this developer has shown that it is possible to create a really good looking game with a solid central set of mechanics and an interesting story on a sensible budget.
Yeah, it was only like 30 odd people that did it.
There's 30 odd people on the main team, obviously with some outsourcing here and there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But they were able to do this not with the bloated, disgusting, cancerous, tumescent budgets for like AAA at this point, or quadruple A, or whatever they're calling it. It was a sensibly priced mid-range game that came out, sold exactly what it needed to, plus extras, to make its money back, to then pump into the next one. There is no reason why the rest of the game industry can't be like this.
But this was spawned from a cancerous, like AAA title company.
Yeah, they were former Ubisoft, weren't they?
And they left, and they've made, is it Sandfall, I want to say?
Sandfall Interactive.
Will say this, though. I think they've shot themselves in the foot, because before this game, they were a nothing company. Nobody knew anything about it. And now they are going to be plastered all over the awards, and there's going to be massive pressure for their next title.
I think if they can stick to the principles that allowed this game to exist in the first place, I have confidence that they're going to be fine.
I hope so. I just hope they don't get pushed to be like, where's the extended universe?
Well, they themselves are independent, so they can do whatever they need to do. They don't have
an answer to a man.
Shareholders to answer to. They don't have to contend with the lie of infinite growth. Player Obscure is a fantastic game. I wish Sandfall Interactive all the best. It's my game of the year, and I imagine it won't be moved.
Yeah, thoroughly deserved. So, your favourite game, which is Final Fantasy IX for the PS1.
The best one.
The best one. Agree.
The best one, and I will brook no argument otherwise.
Die on that hill.
I will. I will sit here and go, oh yeah, you like your Final Fantasy VII, do you? With the hoe-faced protagonist and all the moody bollocks going around. Yeah. What about Final Fantasy X? What about Final Fantasy X? Yeah, it's good. It's no Final Fantasy IX, though, is it?
No, 9 is the best one. It feels the best. It's more traditional.
What I like about it most of all is that, funny enough, is as you say, it's traditional. It is a traditional JRPG. It's swords and sandals. It's heading out into the world, go find out some stuff. It's going to be great. And then once it has established all that, then it brings in the kind of space agey sci-fi stuff that it has now earned, because it doesn't treat you like an idiot.
Yeah, it's not until like the halfway point, right?
Yeah, like it's basically everything past disc 2 is when it starts going completely off the rails.
When you start learning like Zidane and Kuja's background, isn't it? It's been a little while since I played this game, so if I do mix facts, apologies.
That's fine. So end of disc 2 is after all the business on the Eiffel Tree, and we find out what the purpose of that was, and then Kuja turns on Queen Bran with fucking Bahamut.
Yeah,
and then it all goes to hell. But up until that point, it's felt like a proper old school JRPG. You know, but like back from the NES or the SNES days, like, you know, a proper.
Well, you had like I'm Vivi, I'm a black mage, right? And I can't go to a different class. It was like, and I got Steino's a tank, and I like that because obviously FF7 and 8, you could mix and match. If you wanted to make Cloud a healer, you could. If you wanted to make him a mage, you could. But FF9 was very set. You had to have your character set up right.
That's what I like about it. Like, again, I do adore Final Fantasy X. Like, you know, that was one that came out at a very formative time in my life. It is a great game, but end game, all of the characters are virtually the same.
Yeah, just different icons, aren't they? Isn't it frustrating that like so many games are getting like AAA remakes, whatever, FF7, for example, but like this never seems to get the love. Like the rumor of an FF9 remake just gets squashed all the time.
But if they were to remake it in the style of what they've done with Final Fantasy VII, which, to be clear, I have liked the remade Final Fantasy VII. Not loved, but liked.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time with them. How would that improve anything in 9? I don't.
I think if you're going to remake a game like that, the only thing you need to do is give it the sexy HD, you know, PS5 graphics, make the loading screens like boom, jobs are good. And because that's what's quite slow on the old ones, is that when you get into a battle, it's like 4 minutes later.
I mean, yeah, but like, I mean, at this point, like it's been modded to hell. Like, you know, you can get a Maguri mod that basically speeds all these things up. Like all of the little annoyances with this game, and it can be, funnily enough, what I was saying about Claire Obscura, about how like turn-based combat can get a bit languid. It can happen in this as well. Like, you know, the battles take a long time to start. There's long periods where you're just walking across it. There's things you can fix. You can.
Yeah.
But if they were to do it in the style of Final Fantasy VII, it just wouldn't work. Like, it's just not that type of game. Like, you'd lose one of the nicest things about it, which is just the beautiful painted backdrops.
Yeah, agreed.
Because that's it. Like, it's such a gorgeous game to look at. It's a feast for the eyes. Because it's the painted backdrops with, like, you know, movable 3D sprites in the front, and so like you've got that lovely sort of area of foreground and background. It just really works. This type of art doesn't age.
No, I agree. I will say this: I did not like the end boss.
Can I try to convince you that it was both thematically relevant and absolutely what the game needed to do?
Was Kuja not the way to end it?
It's a way.
That just seems like that would be what I would call the traditional way to finish it. You've got your
yeah. You want to talk tradition. You want to talk tradition, like Final Fantasy hasn't pulled a like magic space beetle from beyond the furthest stars out of its arse at the end of any of its games. Come on, don't talk to me about tradition.
So go on then. What's he called? Necron. It's Necron. That's it.
So you beat Kuja at the crystal. Basically, the crystal being the source of all life, and you don't beat him. You fight him to a point when he then uses his desperation move, Ultima, which kills you and destroys the crystal. And then you're left in this, I think it's called something. The location does have a name, even though you don't really do anything in it. You just sort of talk to this dude and then you set up your equipment and go into the fight. It's called something like the Road to Perdition or whatever. So you wake up there. And it's like, oh, who's this? And it's like, I'm out because of the crystal. It's time for all things to end. And essentially, what Necron is saying is, it's very much like, you know, the day the Earth stood still.
Yep.
Yeah, it's that.
Okay.
Klaatu in that comes down and goes, look, we've had a look at what you fellas are doing on this planet, and it would probably be better if we killed you all because. Like this planet has a future, but not with you on it. And what Necron essentially says is virtually the same thing. I saw what Kuja did. I saw that Kuja had reached a point where the shortness of his own life drove him insane. Like the fact that he was mortal, the fact that, like, the sheer fact that when he finds out that he has a limited shelf life at the end of disc 3. Like after you beat Garland, and like the reason why he trances is because he goes insane at the thought that he might ever die. Necron sees that and sees in Kuja what the rest of the world could be / is, which is that the kindest thing to do to prevent this from ever happening again is for everyone to die.
Well, yeah, I suppose when you put it like that, you'd have sold it to me a little bit, I've got to say.
I mean, I agree. It does come a bit out of nowhere. And it is a bit sort of like, by the way, guys, just in case you missed them, here are the themes. But, but, you know, this whole game is about mortality. Even though it doesn't feel like it at the start. At the start of it, it feels like a knockabout adventure, right?
Yeah, just a ragtag bunch of people.
Yeah.
You mentioned the landscapes in Final Fantasy, but it also has a really iconic soundtrack. Do you ever play the soundtrack when you're feeling like you need a bit of a boost?
There are some soundtracks, this is just games in generally, but like Final Fantasy 9 in specific, there are some soundtracks that just transport me and take me away. Soundtracks are so important to me. Like I get so annoyed when people like don't listen to games. Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah.
Because like the music in this is so like Nobuo Uematsu, I think his name is, who was the composer for all the Final Fantasies up to I think maybe 12, is a genius. And like all the it's just so great.
Okay, so all of your game choices, let's say that we are trying to defeat the Paintress, and you can choose your expedition with one character from each game. Who are you choosing as your A team?
Right. So from Isaac, I'm taking my main, Azazel. He's the little demon flying boy with the beam.
Yeah.
Taking him because he's got high damage output at close range, which is going to become important later. With Expedition 33, I'm obviously taking my L, because while we were talking about Binding of Isaac and how it's easy to break, one of the things that I also love about Claire Obscure is that it's easy to break.
Yeah, she gets insanely powerful.
And they seemingly are into it.
Yeah, they got nerfed her.
They haven't nerfed it. In fact, you can go on their socials and they're like, wow, look how much damage this guy got in one hit.
How broken is that?
That's crazy. But like any other game company would have nerfed the shit out of it. But they're like, hell yeah, brother. 48 million damage in one hit. Yeah, dude. So yeah, I'm taking her because I can virtually build a strategy just off a solo Mael run at this point. And I mean, I guess I'd best take. No, who'd be most? I kind of need a healer then, don't I? Because I've got Azazel, I've got Mael. Yeah, I need a healer of some description. So yeah, I guess I'd take Aiko because she has a good mixture of healing, and she's the only character in the game with the access to Holy.
Yeah, and she has some summons.
She has some useful summons, some defensive summons. Yeah, if you get Carbuncle, that's Reflect, baby.
Yeah, it'd be a good party, to be fair. I don't know if you remember. I asked you so you get to pick our next film review. So
I've been so looking forward to this.
Oh no. Have you been nice?
I've been nice because I like this film.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone else does. I deliberately left it off my list of films that I was going to talk about because I wanted it to be a surprise. But realistically, this would have been in instead of The Matrix.
Okay.
Cast your minds back to 2003.
Awesome.
It's been 2 years since 9/11 and the world is still healing. So what do? We take one of Hong Kong's greatest action stars and we take Stifler from American Pie. And we make them fight the Nazis. Yes, you are going to be watching 2003's Bulletproof Monk.
Sorry, yes, that's the one. Yeah. Oh my God, I've not seen that film in years.
Chow Yun-fat and Sean William Scott versus the Nazis in modern day New York. Let's get it.
Okay.
I had erased that film from my memory.
Well, welcome back, brother.
I tell you what,
it is the greatest cinematic achievement of the 21st century.
Ben is going to love that pick.
As well he should. It's absolutely a C- movie and knows it is.
It doesn't try and hide it, does it? It's very much there going, it is Stifler. It's just Stifler.
It doesn't need to. It's just there going, look, we know this is a stupid premise, but come along for the ride. We've got some fairly fun waifu.
I've never seen it, so I'm really excited.
Oh, you are going to love it.
Yeah, it's like the most 6 out of 10 film you've ever seen.
Okay, great.
It is pure average. But you know what? Everyone looks like they're having fun.
Yeah, it is.
And some of the dialogue is so toe-curlingly cringy.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's not aged well.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
It would be cringy in any era because it's so fucking earnest.
It's going to be an experience.
All right. So we'll be reviewing that. I look forward to it.
I'm looking forward to hearing your review.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what, there's not many podcasts that would touch it.
No, got an obligation now.
Thanks for coming on, Ethan.
Thank you very much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
And that's it for this week's Nerd Against Normality. Thanks for hanging with us. Catch all of our latest episodes every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts from. Please follow, rate, like us on social media for more exclusive content. If you have a question, something you want us to review, or a great story from your week, please email us at nanpodcast@outlook.com. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.